Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right.
Okay,
Where
nice.
can
What do
I
we...
find you? I don't see your screen or anything yet.
Yeah, I'm not screen sharing yet. I'm about to do that. So we're gonna
Oh,
look
okay.
at the Sombra replay, right?
Yeah. So those are that I typed in are the timestamps that I died from Sombra. I ended up dying from Sombra like 10 times.
Mm-hmm.
And um I don't think I played that well. And you could see I'm just getting more frustrated as the game goes on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so what do you look to apply so far from the tips which I mentioned in Ask Me Anything channel?
Let's see what did I do. That one, I mean that game specifically, I don't remember doing any tips.
Mm-hmm.
I did a few games where I used try to use corners and I raised up my crosshair a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um then I honestly don't know how to really apply the where she can only attack you at two angles because I don't want to cut off too many angles so that I can't see my team to heal them.
Right, right, right. What is the first priorities though? Is that to heal your team or to pressure the enemy?
Um, Pressure the enemy. I want
Yeah,
to try to get
exactly.
kills first, and then only heal the team when they're critical.
Exactly, exactly. So it might be that it's not necessary that you need to have sidelines on your team all the time whenever you position, at least initially, right? You need to have access to them later in the fight. For sure, you need to be able to heal them up, but the first priority is how do we pressure, and the positioning is if you're trying to minimize the amount of angles to deal with. I can give you an example. So I'm just screen sharing at the moment. Can you see it?
I think it's loading.
It's loading for you. Oh, I
Yep.
remember. I need to lower the quality for you. Give me a second.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
yeah, I got
your
that
yeah
from.
your setup is a little. It's not allowing you to see 1080. Okay, now it should be better.
Here we go. Yep,
Mm.
I got.
Okay, so it's working.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So good example can be, well, actually you can tell me, what do you think is the position which allows you to minimize the pressure from the Sombra? So you're not going to be pressured from multiple angles, just from all the way around the place, but kind of cutting off those threats.
Um,
Yeah, like, what do you think?
like where's my team and where's the enemy team?
Well, usually your team is gonna position around the, if you're on defense. Yeah, let's imagine you're on defense here on the first point. What do you expect your team to position usually?
Uh, Typically like two are on high ground and then like the tank is on low ground and
Mm-hmm.
then two other people.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, so it's kind of you looking to control this area here, maybe a little bit of this, and usually this high ground here. So I'm just gonna zoom out a little. This high ground on the
Yeah.
right, it gives you access to all those chokes, and another high ground to the left gives you an access to the entire point too. So basically, if we here at the point A, we still see your team, but we're minimizing the amount of threats. We not gonna be pressured by the Sombra instantly. There's less potential for the Sombra to pressure you compared to position on low ground because she can only come from here or from here if she is just running it here, right? So there are only two positions you have to check. Most likely it's gonna be that position, right? For example, but she can also use Translocator. That is the thing you can see on the map, so it's something you can react to. That's it. You're just kind of creating those situations where it's harder for the Sombra to pressure you, but we'll get to that. So I'm just gonna look at the timestamps basically. 351. That's when you have first
Yeah,
trouble.
some of them are a little off, but they're about around there.
Mm-hmm. So it's you on a high ground at the start. Okay, it's just a little bit too close, right? It's
Yeah, so I thought that was the Sombra, not the Zarya. I'm like, oh shoot, like Sombra's like out of stealth.
mm-hmm,
I didn't see that it was Zarya, so I would
mm-hmm,
have kept
mm-hmm.
my distance.
Okay. So you, so again, you assume this is the Sombra right there, or?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's just then this is just something recognizes the visual as well. Not too sure. I think we had those problems before where we had some problems with like TV being set up too far from you or something like or it, I think there was an issue something related to that where it was hard for you to recognize visuals. Might worth to take a look if that's like something if the for some players it can be graphics, for some players it can be the way they set up their PC or their TV. It might be way too far, so it's like hard to recognize the characters. Might be something you want to look at too. But yeah, here
Yeah.
if it's Sombra, I think it doesn't matter who is that there. What matters is whether you fight, whether you really looking to pressure the enemy. What is the area you're fighting for at the moment?
Um, Not there. I mean, typically it would be way up there
Yeah,
where the
typically.
payload is.
Yeah, typically.
Yeah.
But based on where your team is, where the area, what you're trying to fight for.
My team is kind of all over the place.
Right.
We got two up high ground. I'm guessing the tank died, so they're coming back.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like the tank is going towards where we normally would be fighting.
Yeah, but
But yeah, mainly the team seems to be up on high ground.
So yeah. Well, I would disagree. Like your team mainly, they can fight for high ground. Look at where they are. Think of where most of your pressure is gonna be based on your team's position. What is that area? Look at the Zarya's position. Look at the Cassidy's position. Soldier. Where all those pressure can be met, basically. Where all those guys can be actively pressuring anybody at the same time.
You're saying like my team pressuring them or them pressuring us?
No. It doesn't matter. You just want to understand what area your team is looking to control. It's not the high ground. Why it's not the high ground? Because you only have soldier being able to shoot anybody there. So if you set up to fight with the high ground, that's a mistake, right?
Yeah, so maybe like main.
Yeah, it's a main, but you can specify. You you look at the position of your team, and you always look at the exact area where your team have line of sight, where most of your people have line of sight, and that has something to do with the scouting. Right when we get in a fight, I think that is something I mentioned. Well, I was telling you, scout anticipate where the Sombra might be. That's another layer, but you can also anticipate and scout is the first priority where your team is. That is something you see right away, yeah, when we get in a fight. So that is really important. And based on that, you can position yourself. Because here, why you take a lot of pressure from the Zarya is because all your team is just set up to fight here. There's no way they can help you with the pressure or defensive resources. Like Zarya can bubble you. A soldier, well, will be problematic for him to use healing station a little bit too far from him too. So that is something to keep an eye on. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have to scout where the team is, make sure we set up to fight this area. Now, if you know all that information now, so it's the area here of where we should be, where, what is
I
your
would
position
probably
can be?
like to go um like kind of where the Zarya is at. Like ooh, I don't know how to describe it. It's like
Low ground here?
so it's sort of yeah, right there.
Mm-hmm.
Um how do I describe it? It's like it's on high ground, but it's not all the way on high ground. It's
Yeah, I
like
understand.
the
It's
balcony.
you using
Yeah,
those
there
balconies.
I'd probably
Yeah,
line up and
sure.
I could see.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think that is something you can start with. You still using verticality. If you remember, we've been saying like it's good to use Baptiste. You have extra line of sight, and then you can also fight a Sombra, so it's nice. And then you can always go up. Yeah, but what's important is you fighting for the area where your team is fighting, and it's not even just being here, there, or here. You can even play on the edge of this high ground. It's possible, but it's gonna be better. Zarya can bubble you, and you can instantly break the line of sight with anybody and jump towards the team just in case. But usually, first of all, try to fight for your position, of course. It's just the way you're fighting, you don't have any resources to help you. We just want to fight when we have resources, so scouting can help out. So we die not to the Sombra, but we die to this, basically. Yeah, we like you lose most of your HP from that Zarya. Uh-huh. Okay, do you have any questions about all of that here, or?
Um so I think as we go on, I'll have more like I have a few kind of lined
Mm-hmm.
up but
Yeah. Okay. So
in this situation.
seems like it's kind of a little bit of a similar idea. So we do take a lot of initial pressure right there. Yeah, it seems like okay, we get in the fight. Uh-huh. You're okay. First of all, I want you to pay attention to where you are. Right? It's same idea as before. You're looking to scout and then set up based on that, based on what area your team is looking to control. So your team is currently they're looking to control the area in front of the cart. Okay, what is that position? What is that? Let's call it high ground position you should be set up on in order to control this position. Where you should be going.
I could do the county jail.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that at the start, at least, right? Because where we are, why we take a lot of pressure is because you positioned with your core. You positioned with to just take a lot of pressure. You're trying to remember that idea of taking off angle on the map. Yeah, so we kind of do two things with the positions, thinking where most of our team is, taking off angle. Yeah, like before, we did take that high ground. It's possible here we can take this jail. That's also good. But setup is the first priority because you're not set up. You take too much spam pressure because you on the same side with your team. You do take this high ground later, which is good. I just think you should be faster because as fast you already lost your 100 HP here. Well, it's not that critical maybe sometimes, but this is like what gets you killed eventually. It's not the Sombra, it's just us being positioned on the low ground with your core. You want to set up right away. So you split the enemy's attention. Imagine if you split the enemy's attention right away, the Faris Rocket or even Sombra, if she will try to go on you when you have your full resources, it will be a completely different story, right? If she's killing you because you're low on resources, because you got pressured before, that's another story. Yeah, you can't do much about it, basically. If you're getting killed just like that, yeah? Okay, 5:33. That's when another thing happens. Oh yeah, this is more interesting now. Actually, let me see what we did with our. Okay, so we don't.
So I ended up just not having a safe rotation back
Right,
as pressured into the hallway.
right. See, remember the same idea which you mentioned. We start in the fight, we scout, and based on that information, we should set up, not heal, not even pressure. I think, but set up right away. So where you should be going. Yeah, you
I don't
just
think I'm coming from spawn. I think I just got pushed back into that corner. So I couldn't set up.
yeah. Well, as we see, let's go back a little. So you guys respond with Zarya. they're gonna cap, right?
Oh, okay.
You're going in a
Oh,
fight.
so we got like a late spawn. Okay.
Yeah. So you still gotta think where you're going, but you kind of just keep staying at this position, and then eventually you get pushed out. Yeah, for whatever reason. Well, mainly it's just because you cut off from the rest of your team, right? So when we go in a fight, that is something we want to be thinking about is where are we gonna set up? Yeah, where we should be going towards. What do you think? So not staying here, but going to where?
To go to the other side without getting shot.
Okay, going to other side and then set up where? What do you think your position should be?
I could try to go high ground. I just don't
Yeah,
know how I would not die from that.
yeah.
It's an open space.
Well. The the thing is, if you really can make it, if you really cut off from your team, sometimes it's better to die and respawn faster, and you can get better better setup, or you can try, like you still can try. Yeah, it does matter. You either you're probably just gonna try to set up and then stay. If not, if it's not gonna be successful, then you're gonna die and respawn later. Well, that's still better than being in a position where you're not contributing to that area where most of your team can do damage. Remember, that is the thing we used before on our first example, thinking what is the area your team is looking to control. That is something you can anticipate, right? And your team is just about to respawn. They only can control this corner, right? And you just read away, and that's why there's a lot of pressure. Yeah, if you could try to make it, maybe die in attempt, that's still a little bit better, I think. Another thing can be actually doing this, can be interesting in play, but possible. It's don't do anything at all. Do not give up your position. Don't just stay and hide. We
Yeah, I
all
think that would be probably the best play.
Yeah, that
That
can.
or die quick.
Yeah, exactly. Because now you start pressuring when most of your team is not around. The pressure is simply they kind of, well, they're almost there, but it's a little bit too early. It's a little bit too early, and then your team is just, as we can see, they can only control this corner, which gets to pressure, like too much pressure on you. So you have to run back, yeah. And here you can do, again, you can't do much. Even though you win versus the Sombra, it's gonna be difficult. You can do certain things like with your movement pattern. If you look at from the Sombra perspective, for example, it's a little bit too linear. So you just run in one direction like that, okay? The fundamental idea whenever you're looking to do something is making sure your movement is less linear, so it's harder for the enemy to hit shots. Now it's way too easy. So how do you make your movement less linear? What do you think?
I mean, I could go. I mean, it's kind of hard. I mean, I could go back and forth, side to side kind of thing.
Side to side, exactly.
What about like when she's in stealth and I'm going side to side, which is in her perspective just going forward and backward kind of thing? Or should I just do it after I see her kind of?
Yeah, exactly. Well, you still gonna AD. This is what we call AD strafe. Well, going left, right. Yeah, if using controller, yeah, like AD. I'm just using it as a reference to the movement of left and right on the keyboard. Yeah, basically, you do that against any target. Ideally, that should be done. But when there is a Sombra, you know that you should be doing it against Sombra, because in this case she's more threatening. Yeah, you don't want to overthink it, like just thinking, oh, she is already in styles right behind me. Well, how she got there, even? Yeah, like where you've been positioned, so she got to that close. Yeah, it's also like another question. But here it's just the case. The movement is little bit too linear, yeah, so it's doing left and right, or also add something like what's called just try to crouch, yeah, depending on the situation. obviously there's much more in depth into it. How do you do that? When do you do that as well? But that is something you at least want to think about. Yeah, let's just start with this fundamental idea. I think start with a de-strafing, doing left and right kind of middle strafes. So do not spam it, because some players do that. They kind of, but because they spam, they stay at the same position instead of it doing a little bit longer strafes. Not way too long, but just doing it a little, and then this way it's gonna be harder for the Sombra to aim at you. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. You're still probably gonna die, but maybe you win the duel. Here, you 100% gonna have much more chances if the movement is not as linear. Okay, another example. 555. Okay, so it's here. Right. Oh, okay. This is more interesting, right? We just got out of spawn. You're shooting towards the Sombra. Okay, this exact
Yeah, I'm like
scenario.
trying to find her because I know she's just gonna snipe me every time.
I
I'm like, I
want
don't know
you.
what to do.
I want you to see your position. How we allowing the Sombra to come from any angle. See what our position looks like right now. Well, you kind of expect the Sombra to be there, which makes sense. But then, yeah, see how we're going from this point A towards the open, where she might come from anywhere. She might come from here, there, everywhere. Well, you can check one angle with the shooting, right? Like you did, but you're not cutting off this, for example, where she's coming from. So, what do we do about that? What we should be doing with our positioning to cut off that threat, to cut off that potential for Sombra to attack from multiple angles? What you should be doing?
So you say like I should do where she can only do a few angles.
Exactly.
Um,
Minimizing.
but then I just like I don't see a spot where she can't attack
Oh, what about here?
anywhere.
Yeah, what about here?
Oh, I didn't. No, I did not see that. Okay, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. You always choose the position where she has limited choices. She cannot attack you from multiple angles at the same time. He giving her a choice to attack you from anywhere. If you position here, less choices. You go up here, again, less. Up here, less. Jumping or something. Using corners, even, to some extent. It's the last chances for Sombra. And because, imagine you here and checking for the Sombra to come from here by shooting. There's no way she can get to pressure you. If she will, you well, actually supports are the strongest heroes in the game at the moment. You can easily kill her, especially with your lamb. It's gonna be quite easy task, and with your shift, she can't do much against you. You use all your resources, but it's just the unpredictability. Yeah, you don't know where she's gonna come from, makes it harder, and then we kind of panic, right? And then it's just difficult. Okay, do you have any questions so far, or
No.
no? No questions.
So
Okay, another example. Let's see. It might be interesting one. Uh-huh. Okay, so this
so
is
she got
when.
me down to half health before I could even react.
Yeah. So this is one of the things, again, a scouting, right? We started with a scouting. Where do we expect the Sombra to be? Might be helpful. Again, at any point of time, even before, that is something you did with shooting. You was anticipating where the Sombra might come from. Here, you might expect her to come from some spaces, like from behind. But okay, let's even not focus on this, but focus on how do you limit amount of angles she can come from. Again, you going in the
I
area where
should have
Mhm.
gone in the left room where there's
Yeah,
more hallway
yeah,
kind of.
yeah. Jump up left, walk through, and you're good, probably. And then you jump up, and you can easily avoid her. I think it's probably a little bit faster rotation too. Well, it's kind of similar to me. Maybe it's a little bit longer. I think it's tiny bit longer because you have to do this movement zigzag here. But it's still better. If you expecting the Sombra to come, if you know she exists, why not? Because tracers, Sombras, they like to kill isolated targets in spawn. That is something you want to aim for to do. Minimize the sweats this way. Okay, another example here. 2050. Okay. Well, we just come. So we're coming from
It
spawn.
might be 12:05.
Yeah, I mean it's starting here when she. Yeah, when she start. When
Oh,
she.
yeah,
When
yeah,
she.
yeah, that could
Yeah,
be.
yeah, yeah. Again, I want you to notice how you position. Like you move your movement pattern so far. It looks like you're going from point. So you're going towards your team a little bit. So it's a little bit of this movement. Okay. Then you go back a little. It's kind of this towards here, and then you're going here and back. And then you keep playing at this position. So it's kind of like you're moving all around this space. But your priority should be how do we set up? What is the position I'm getting to? It's not about healing your team. It's not about even pressuring is the first priority. The first thing is set up and then do things on the map. Pressure the enemy or heal your team. See what I'm saying? Yeah, like it's really important. Where you should be going right away instead of being here.
Probably the left side.
For example, right? And you can also limit the amount of angles you're gonna deal with. If Sombra is gonna come from yeah, if she's gonna come from anywhere, it's gonna be harder for her. If we wanna go main, I think it's also possible because here we're just getting to the choke. You might get the high grounds here, but this is a tiny bit better. But really focus on where you going towards, right? Rather than thinking about healing your team in the first place. Like it's still a good thing to do, but it's only good if you do it simultaneously with repositioning, right? If you it might be better for you to just start with positioning while you let your team die first because you're just trying to learn that that's okay, but then later you will get better at it. Basically you're gonna be able to position and heal your team also, yeah, because you can totally do that. Yeah, you can still move
Yeah.
towards somewhere. Yeah, set up. Okay, because now because you've been stuck in that area, this is where you basically like make it harder, and yeah, she can attack from multiple angles because you're out in the open. Okay. What about here? I get that part. Like the summer is really sometimes can be really annoying, quite frustrating too. Okay, the position here, just the final one. Well, it's almost you guys using a lot of ultimates. Well, there's a decent ultimate, I think, kind of on off angle, right? Move a little bit back. See, you just wanna try to. There was a good idea when you try to jump on this high ground. I think that is something you should try to do right away. So you did the setup. Yeah, let's say you did set up your window. You pressure somebody, and you cannot pressure the enemy anymore because you're losing your HP. Well, once you dropped, once you gave up your position, still think about the first idea of how to regain the position. Yeah, what are you gonna go towards rather than staying here? Yeah, staying in the main. Think, okay, where I'm gonna be going so it's good position. Maybe it's a little bit to the left. Yeah, I think it can be decent. So the Ash is not shooting you. Maybe here, if your team is about to pressure this corner, why not? But set up first and then pressure, because now we kind of get stuck in the main and there's just too much pressure from Ash, and then the Sombra gets you finally. Again, be out in the open. She can come from anywhere. Okay. Does all of it make sense?
Yeah. I guess I gotta practice it.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be good. Once you practice that more and more, it should be really nice. Okay, let's try to summarize all of that. What do we learn? What are you gonna work on?
Um, if I have to, like, if I have the option to kind of go through like a hallway or somewhere that's more narrow, take it.
Mm-hmm.
If I, in order to get to a favorable position where I can pressure the enemy team. Um,
Mm-hmm.
always thinking before even healing or like pressuring the enemy or anything, just kind of scout and kind of look at where can I like where is the team fight, and then what's
Exactly.
a nice slight off angle where I can do both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Where the team fight is, and then position, and then only pressure or heal your team, basically. Okay. Yeah, I think this is good. And it can add a little bit of movement as well. AD strafing can be quite beneficial as well. Whenever the Sombra gets to pressure you, so your movement is less linear, try to save A to D. Death much is good in terms of practicing all of that. Doing try hard FFA as well can be helpful. Yeah, so you're not just booming backwards or forward. No, in reality, it's much better if you do AD strafing at any point of time. Yeah, if you have the cover near you as well, it's quite nice. Okay, do you have any final questions, maybe, or?
Um, uh, I guess like one thing is like let's say I were to be closer to my team, I'm in a decent position, but Sombra's still able to get to me, kind of thing.
Okay. First thing, you don't
Like
need to be close
I
to your
just
team.
don't know like yeah, I just don't know. Also, like I just wonder like um I don't know. I guess maybe it's more of a frustration thing rather than, and it might be still just positioning, but like I don't know, she seems like she forces my 25-second cooldown so easily.
Right. I
And
mean,
it's like I can't help out my team when I have to use it like at the
exactly,
beginning
exactly, and we saw
when
that
coming from spawn.
those being the consequences of the position. Show me the VOD where you fix the position. If you fix the position and you fix the scouting, minimize the amount of angles, and it's not working, well, we'll get to that. But probably the 90% chance it will work. Because here is just fundamentally the positioning problem. If it's fixed, I think it's the biggest problem. It's not, well, it might be stressful, obviously, to fix all of that, but you show me the VOD where you have the perfect position, well, probably you're not gonna be forced out to use that cooldown. That's just the common problem, yeah, the basic problem. Because of misposition, we are, what's the word? We're compensating bad position. We compensating with the with our cooldowns here, because we play out in the open, we have to use our cooldowns early. It's a common problem with the tanks. Like, let's say Orisa is out in the open, she forced to use Fortify too early because she's not using corners or whatever cover. Reinhardt getting his shield pressured Mallard down too easily as well. That is the same thing here. Like most of the examples, right? Mm-hmm. Does it make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you're gonna have any questions, though, feel free to message me, and we'll look at this at those timestamps. And I think for the next time, yeah, actually, if you wanna focus on something specific, we can do that for now. Let's see how the improvements with the Sombra are gonna be. I wish you good luck in your games, and let's see how is that gonna go. Okay.